right?
Hi and welcome to Geeks for Geeks. Today we have a very special person, that is Deepak Bhatia with us and his team members. So I would be adding each one of them. Hi everyone.
Hello, Siddharth.
Hello.
Hey, Pat, how are you doing?
Yeah, I'm doing fine. What about you?
Wonderful.
Okay.
Thank you for
So
having
let's
us
get
with that.
it's my honor. Okay. So we would start off right away. So let's start off with the very first question everyone would be asking. What is this Egon Zehnder all about?
Awesome. So
Okay.
I can. So, but Deepak, do
Mhm.
you want to, or shall I
No, no.
go ahead?
I'll drive the slide, Madhuri. You go ahead.
Sure, sure. All right, great. So, thank you so much, Siddharth, for having us on board, and we feel truly honored here to have this opportunity to share with so many participants who've joined us about our firm, what we do, and what are some of the offerings that we have for them today. So, we are very excited to take you all through, through this some slides that we've put together. So, Egon Zehnder, I'm sure all of the people on the call must have done some Google searches before, and they do have some idea on what is it that we do. But I'll try to explain in brief, what is it that we do. We are one of the world's leading leadership advisory firm. Uh, what simple terms, if I talk about, is we partner with our clients, we partner with other organizations in helping them understand the leadership challenges that they're facing, and helping them through these challenges in different formats. It could be in terms of identifying the right kind of leaders that will help the organization take them to the next level, or it could be in the form of developing the leaders that they have in the organization, developing the potential in being able to take the organization to the next level and maneuver the challenges that they face in today's volatile and uncertain world. I think this is one of the most common requests that we get from our clients is, as leaders, how do we tackle these problems that are coming in forefront of us with COVID and with war and crisis, etc. The challenges have just become immense. So, as a firm, we partner with our clients in helping bring in the right kind of leaders for the organization. And there's something that we commonly say amongst each other, and through through the colleagues that we have, is we believe that leadership can and will create a better world for all of us. So, and we've seen that in recent times, right? How a leader can make a difference. So that is where we come in to create a difference in organization. So yes, that is in short what is it that we do and what Egon Zender is all about. Deepak, can we move to the next
Yeah.
slide?
Yeah, I would just like to add here to what Madhuri said, that again, you must have Googled, but then I just want to stress that we are a very, very international firm. We are present in 37 countries. We have 63 offices. So although, we may not be large in terms of numbers, 2,000 plus full-time employees, but then we are in all major. Uh, I'll move on to the next one.
Thank you, Deepak, for that. So this slide is, a quick glimpse of what is the values that we believe in. When somebody, I'm sure all of you on the call, who are looking to join this organization or want to know more about the organization, they would want to know what are the values that we believe in, and whether those values align with what I think or what is right for me, and whether that's the kind of culture that I see myself being part of. So hence I felt this slide was very important to give you a glimpse of what are some of the tenets that we believe in, what are some of the behaviors that we practice on a daily basis. And these are some of those tenets that we truly embrace on an everyday basis. And like Deepak mentioned in the previous slide, right, we are present in 37 countries. We have a diverse workforce present in multiple locations, multiple teams operating at different, at different parts of our value chain. But what we truly are is we operate as one firm, right? When it comes to doing a project or serving our clients, we come together, we mobilize our knowledge and resources, and with the end aim of being able to create value for our clients. So that is what we do. We don't look at who's working where. For us, we represent one brand of Egon Zehnder with our intent to be able to help our clients through the challenges that they're facing. And something else that I want to talk about in this slide is, generosity as a value. Uh, this is something that, our founder himself believed in and had put this in place when he started the organization, which was way back in 1964. So when I say generosity, I don't just mean in terms of, the monetary factor. That's what first comes into your mind, right, when you say generosity. But here we see generosity in a broader scope. We when I say generosity, it is support that we as colleagues extend to each other. We are there, holding each other's back when we need to during the good and bad times. We also are generous in terms of sharing of knowledge, expertise, and helping each other develop, because we do understand that, it's a journey that all of us are undertaking, and there is going to be ups and downs, and we as a firm are there to support each other during these times. So that's what defines generosity for us. So these are some of the tenets that define our culture, define our value, and uh, we like to believe that we practice this on a daily basis. Obviously there are some values that are practiced more often and some which we are still, working towards. But yes, every step of the way we are trying to be there. So yes, with that, I, hand over the next part of the session to Deepak. He heads our digital IT at Egon Zehnder here, and he'll be giving you a sneak peek of what is it that we do in the digital IT space.
Cool. Thank you, Madhuri. Thanks a lot for that introduction and overview of our values. We are a very, very, very values firm. But then move on to uh, the IT part of it, which I'm sure you're looking forward to. I could see you guys. I don't know how many people are actually listening to us. I hope there are several. This is very exciting. The digital IT part of what we do, and this moment in time in particular is actually very amazing for us because we are undergoing a very large digital transformation globally, and that has thrown up a huge number of opportunities both for existing roles and new roles, which we will talk about in a bit. Uh, we have a lot of commitment to growing our folks, growing our team within the organization. In that sense, we being smaller in size actually gives us that advantage that we can focus more on our people. We can have a lot of one-to-one coaching and counseling and understanding of the aspirations of every person as to what he or she would want to do, and that really really helps. Plus, since we are not very very huge and we are providing IT services to our own firm, that gives us a very distinct advantage because then we can actually have more roles to work on. So it is not that if you're working for a very large client and you have a very small role to play. Since we are working for ourselves, we sometimes have multiple roles which a person may be doing or get more opportunities in terms of moving laterally across multiple roles. So with that, I'll go on to how we are organized in IT. There are six pillars, so to say, in IT, or you can call them groups, or you can call them departments. Uh, and going from 1 to 6, we start with collaboration technology. Collaboration in itself is actually become a huge, although it overlaps many other technologies. It needs to be looked at on its own. So that will cover things like, you know, Teams or Zoom or how we use MS Office to collaborate or how we use other tools to collaborate. I'm sorry, can you hear me? Siddharth, can you hear me? Madhuri, can you hear me?
Yes, Deepak, I can hear you.
Yes, we can
Okay,
hear.
yeah. Okay, all right. Yeah, so that was about collaboration technology. The next is functional technology. Now, we have a lot of internal platforms which are used by various departments. So, for example, corporate communications or finance or marketing. We need to have focus to be able to look into these platforms. They're very large areas in themselves. So, there has to be a group dedicated to making sure that our internal groups can work well. So, for example, our internal ERP platform or our HR platform on Workday. So, things of that nature are managed by this group called functional technology. So, you can think of it as a group managing these platforms internally with our internal clients as their focus. Next is the digital technology. The digital technology is actually more outward focused. Those are to do with the services we actually deliver to our clients. And again, it's a pretty large group and a very, very critical group because that's the IT which our clients see when they engage with the Egon Zehnder. These are the tools and the technologies which we keep building and are building, and probably a lot of positions which we will be talking about today belonging to this group. And then underlying all this is security and architecture. In today's world, security is critical, and we can't do anything. We can't really succeed without having a good security baseline. Also, on architecture front, very difficult to separate out the enterprise architecture from the security architecture. So, hence, keeping this together under security and architecture, this group actually takes care of the security needs and demands and the compliance needs, risk assessments across all the other verticals. Infrastructure and services. Uh, Again, there is infrastructure which you have on premise or on physical data centers, but most of it now is on the cloud. We are more of a Microsoft shop, so we use Azure heavily. So infrastructure vertical takes care of providing the Azure services, managing, running, operating these services, and serving other groups in this list. Also covers operations. Things like service requests or break fix kind of things. That's covered under this group. And lastly, we come to digital success. Most of you would be aware you really cannot have a successful digital transformation unless you have somebody focusing on the digital success, which pretty much means training, which means adoption, which means change management. I mean, the human side of technology cannot be overemphasized. You can build all the tools you want, you can build all the technologies you want, but unless you have a very strong digital success foundation, those technologies and tools will not be used properly and you will not succeed. So we have a complete pillar dedicated to digital success to make sure that whatever we are creating, whatever we are making, is adopted properly, is used properly. So this is what we have in all. We have about 150 people across the globe working in these areas as directly in IT or indirectly in IT. And again, like we said, we are spread out all over the world. So we have a very diverse team. I'll move on to the next slide. Uh, this is the part which actually resounds well with our business. So if you talk to the business and you talk a lot about what I already spoke about, they'll probably say, okay, what does this really mean to us? And we are talking about this because at the end of the day, it's not technology for technology's sake. This is what we really want to do for the business. This is how we want to make a difference in the lives of our colleagues who actually are running the business, are bringing in the business, right? So first of all, we want to create time for what really matters. We don't want them to have very complex technology. I think it is said famously that the better the technology, less the user should be aware of it, right? So make time for what matters, reduce the duplicative work, increase our velocity to deliver in the market, and so on. Building trusted data and insights that differentiate. So what do we get out of whatever we are building, all these platforms and data? Unless you are able to get some insights which you otherwise wouldn't have while looking at the data directly, there is no use of having this advanced technology. So what we would like to do is provide this very fast and powerful insight, this discovery and search. Like Madhuri said, we are serving clients. We are a leadership advisory firm that requires a lot of search work to find the right people to head these very senior roles, in executive search and leadership advisory. We need to get insights from our data. We have a lot of data, but that's really not good unless we derive insights. So this is what we would want to do and we continue to do. And we also want to ensure that whatever data we have is all secure and is of very high quality. And lastly, making trusted connections with those we care about, because ultimately our business is about people, right? And unless we are able to make these trusted connections, and technology can help us in making those trusted connections, we would have failed in our mission, right? So finding the right expertise when it is required, uh, to improve our internal collaboration. You notice that there was a separate pillar dedicated to collaboration. It's because it's that important. And making sure that we support the timely engagement with our candidates, which we present, and the clients to whom we present these candidates. I'll move on to the next one. So, what does this really mean for the folks who join and work with us in our teams? I said earlier, we absolutely like to nurture the talent we have. We are here in for the long term. We always have the long term view. We are not in the hire and fire space. We just don't want to get people on board, do something, and get rid of people. And the average tenure of the people who work in our firm is a testimony to that desire we have and that commitment which we have. So, for everybody who joins us, we will continue to grow and nurture that talent. We will give opportunities. We will provide cross job movements wherever possible. And these are some of the levels. I'm sure these may not be new to you. And again, I will not spend a lot of time in going through these individually. But as a person joins, the joining level would be the IT analyst level one. And this could be in any stream. It could be as a developer, it could be as a QA person, it could be as a security person, as a help desk person. But then that's the place which you get into the organization, the IT organization, and begin your journey. You start to learn, you build your technical skills, you start providing the support to your internal colleagues. And excuse me, there are a lot of processes which you will need to follow and understand to deliver what you need to do. So that's the first level. Then is the second level where you start to deliver more without being supervised. So you know more what to do. You start coming in with independent ideas. You build your domain knowledge and also start training some of your newer colleagues who may be joining at the level one. That's your time to give back what you have learned. The next level is the senior analyst or the senior developer, and these are experienced people, and they will be applying more and more of themselves, doing unstructured tasks, coming up with newer solutions, and they will also continue to train the new people as they come in. And then you have the lead profiles, and these are again folks who could be more on the technical side or on the people side or the project side, and they will provide more insights, work on more complex problems, and also coach people a lot, coach their team members a lot. So it's not very different from any other organization, but what we do have is that these roles will be more wider in terms of scope, because like I said earlier, we're a smaller group and we can provide those opportunities. So these are some of the current opportunities that are available in our team here in Gurgaon. Uh, Web API developers, .NET and React, JS developers, Azure DevOps, the help desk support, which is actually not level one, but level 1.5. It's something between
Hey,
level
hi
one and
everyone.
two.
So this is Swikriti, and we also have Meenakshi here. We are part of the talent acquisition team for GTS, the digital IT team. So I'll be speaking about the roles, the open positions. So let's have a look at the roles that we are currently hiring for. So starting with this web API developers. So candidates who are interested in learning .NET technology with web API, microservices. This would be a really interesting role for them. I mean, they would be learning technologies like .NET Core, Web APIs, microservices. The next role is .NET with React.js. So this is more of a full stack developer role. So with this, again, people who are interested, learning in front end technologies like React.js, JavaScript, along with .NET Core, these candidates should apply for this particular role. The next would be Azure DevOps role. So currently, as you know, we are in digital transformation. So we're currently moving to Azure. So the scope for this role, people who are interested in learning about CI/CD pipelines, Azure cloud technologies. This would be an amazing role to start with. The next role is help desk role. So the help desk role basically focuses on helping the stakeholders who are present in global offices with the installation and administering, configuring their systems. So people who are interested, the candidates who are interested in this kind of processes, they should apply for the help desk role. The last would be the cybersecurity role. That's also called as the SOC analyst role. So, candidates or people who are like, having a acumen towards ethical hacking, learning, people who are interested in investigation, managing threats and threat hunting. So this role actually would really, excite these people. So candidates interested in this particular technology should apply to the SOC analyst role. So this was about the opportunities that we have at KCI. Uh, yeah. So the next slide. Yeah, so the process that we'll be following is, let's have a look at it. So tomorrow everybody will appear for the Job-A-Thon. Post the Job-A-Thon, we will be getting the results by 24th. So from 25th till 30th May, we will be, me and Meenakshi, both of us, we will be talking to the candidates and understanding their, having just a normal HR discussion with them, understanding their educational background and family background, so on and so forth. So once we are done with that, we will have group discussions and interviews with senior manager. The timeline for this would be 1st to 3rd of June. And once all the processes are done, we will be rolling out the offers by 5th of June. So this would be the processes. And yes, for freshers, as you can see, the IT analyst role. So the starting compensation or the remuneration that we have is starting from 4.5 lakhs. But as you can see that people who are having experience, so the kind of salaries or the remuneration we'll be offering would be in according to the company or the market standards for the experienced candidates. So yes, thank you so much for this time. Yeah.
Hi. So have some more questions rolling in. So the questions are: what problem did you find when you came up with the idea to start this company? Egon Zehnder.
Okay, I can try to take that. So there are two contexts to this. One is when the company was set up in 1964 by Dr. Zehnder. So I'm sure he would have seen some problems, right? And he would have tried to solve those problems. And of course, I can go into that, but that's probably not relevant there for this audience. What I'd like to talk about is why we set up this group in Gurgaon at KCI in Egon Zehnder. So about 14 years ago, we set up this group, and the driver for this was that we have very high quality talent available in India. There are people available for us what we want to do. At that point of time, we had IT folks, few in numbers, scattered all over the world. And since we're a partnership firm, they were working with different offices, and there was no central management of IT. So we came with the idea of setting up a technology services team, which could actually cover all facets of technology delivery to the company. And that's how we came up with the idea of setting up this particular technology group, Gurgaon.
So let's move forward with the next question. So, how would you describe the values your employees value?
Yes, so I'll go back to the values slide, which was discussed at length. So these are our firm values, which were discussed. I can talk to a couple of them, uh, although it's been, discussed already. So generosity is very important to us. You know, the one of the very overwhelming responses. I'll give you my example. When I joined this firm many years ago, nobody knew me. There was just an announcement that such and such guys joined. Uh, Over the period of the next 1 week, I received more than 100 messages just welcoming me to the firm from people I had no clue who they were. I had not met them. So that's the kind of company we have. Globally, they're very generous. You can talk to anybody. If that person can help, that person will help you. So that's a value which we like to live. All of us like to live, and also the spirit of ownership. We don't like to micromanage people. We would like to give something to a person and let that person take care of it. We trust that person will take care of it. So I would say these are the couple of things which really focus on, which will be of good value to anybody who's joining the organization.
That's very great to hear. So the next question coming in is, what are the key technologies Egon Zehnder is currently working?
So again, going back, if you look at the openings, you can probably get an idea of what are the key technologies which we are working on. But to supplement this, what I can say is that we moved to the cloud about 4 or 5 years ago, and we've been there, but that was more from infrastructure as a service and more from platform as a service. We have now begun our journey to complete native cloud now. So what that really means for us is that we are building systems which are completely cloud native. They are serverless. They are using infrastructure as code. They are using agile methodologies, using CI/CD methods, using microservices based architecture, and so on and so forth. So that should give an idea of the kind of technologies we are working on.
So next question coming in is, as a CISO and India head, what advice would you like to give to entry-level developers in any organization, the developers who are looking for their first job?
I think the biggest advice to an entry level person, although not entry level only, I would say this advice goes for anybody, is to stay hungry and to stay foolish. Stay hungry for more and more knowledge. This is the time when you can actually gather and also figure out, because if you cast your net wide, you can also try to figure out what you want to do. Sometimes when you get into a firm, when you're just beginning your career, you're not clear as to what you really want to do. And unless you get exposed to a lot of things, you will not know what you do not know. You may like something, but you've not been exposed to it. You will not know you really like it. We've actually hired people during the course of the interview. They came for profile A, but in speaking to them, we said, hey, you know what? You are more suitable for profile B. And there have been a couple of cases where the person said, hey, yeah, let me try that out. And it really worked. And second thing is to stay foolish. Don't be a know-it-all. Nobody knows it all. Things are changing very, very fast. So try to learn as much as you can when you're starting your career.
Sure. Next question coming in is, so just a sec. So recently you partnered with Geeks for Geeks to source the candidates for your tech hirings. So what are your expectations out of this partnership?
I'll let Meenakshi and Swikriti speak to that.
Sure.
Meenakshi and Swikriti, can you hear me? I don't think they can hear
So,
us. Yeah, you can.
yeah, yeah. So, we partnered with Geek for Geeks to understand how the market is and how it is going to be to recruit trained freshers. Yeah, and we also got to know that they have training courses that they have for IT freshers and IT experienced people, and that's the reason we partnered. And we also found Job-A-Thon very interesting.
Okay, sure. So the, the next question coming on is, what are your views upon Job-A-Thon, the hiring contest, and how will it help in your hiring for Tier 3 and Tier 4 candidates to start their career? So am I audible?
Meenakshi, you want to take that? Meenakshi, Swikriti, you want to take that?
Job-A-Thon is a very interesting concept, and the kind of filtration of the test that this contest has, and that is going to funnel out the candidates and give us only the test. And this would help us to get on with hiring Tier 3 and Tier 4 candidates.
Can I add to that, Siddharth?
Sure, sure.
Yeah, so we have a lot of expectations from Geek for Geeks in terms of being able to connect with the right people. So I think if we were to go out directly, we'll not be able to connect with so many people, right? With you, we are expecting that you'll help us connect to a lot of potential candidates and be able to identify candidates who are excited to work with us, who understand what we are doing, and we can mutually benefit from the long term perspective.
So the next question coming in is, for an organization like yours, what would you look for in a candidate who is suitable to work with your company?
Okay, I can try to take that, and please add on, Meenakshi and Madhuri, if you'd like to. Personally, what I mostly look for, and I know my team members also look for, is the first of all, the thing is the attitude. Attitude and team fit is the person, famously what we call an eye specialist. An eye specialist, as in the letter I, not an eye specialist, right? So if the person is an eye specialist, then it's difficult for that person to work in a team. We like team players. We would love to hire people who are team players. We also like to hire for potential. It is not that you know everything the day you come in, but we see the potential for you to actually want to learn, want to grow. I would say these are the two top criteria we would like to see. And the third is ownership. That with whatever potential you have, with whatever ability do you have, do you take full ownership of what is being given to you? I think if you have these three capabilities, technology follows. You can learn whatever. It's not a problem.
Sure. So, for concluding this conversation, what would be your message to candidates who are watching this video and looking for an opportunity in Egon Zehnder?
A lot of messages I think we've already given. I wish I could see if those messages are reaching the people. But then again, I would just like to conclude by saying that the message would be that it's a great environment to work in. And again, testimony from the people who worked with us for a long time. We still have a lot of people from the initial team who started, when we set up this group, and they've continued to learn and grow. So if you're looking for a place which really nurtures your talent, which wants to grow you into a long term, which wants to grow you as a professional, not just as a technologist, then this is the right place to be.
So now we will be catering the questions from the audience itself. So if you want any questions to be answered, you can ask now. And the previous question we would be asking now. So this is a question from Pooja Sharma. She is asking that if there is any opportunities for freshers as a data analyst.
Yeah, so we don't have that right now, but we can get back. We can get back on that if you share your resume, because we'll be doing a lot of data work as we are building this data platform. I talked about getting insights. So we're building this digital ecosystem. So do share your resume, and we can examine that and see if we can do something about it.
So, so we are still waiting for, yeah, the next question is, any opportunities for Web3 writers?
Web3 writers, can you elaborate that a little bit more, David?
Okay, we will be waiting for the day we can. So, in that buffer, let us answer the next question that is here. So, so this question is asked by Sachin Kumar Shahu. Why companies have started hiring less number of MER or mean stack developer?
I'm sorry, I'll not be able to answer that because I don't think that's in our context.
Okay, sure, sure, absolutely not an issue. So Aditya and many other people are thanking you for this great insight. So
Thank you. Thank you. I'm just so happy that there are people who actually sat through and heard us out. Very, very happy. Thank you.
yeah, many people heard us. Okay, so no questions are coming in. I think that's it for today. So that's it for today. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Siddharth. Thank you so much, candidates, and whoever has watched this. Look forward to connecting with whoever is interested. Thank you.
Thanks a lot for the
Thank you,
keen
everybody.
insight.
Bye bye.
Bye.
Thank you.
Thank you.